Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Morgan. I'm at Moon on Instagram and now on YouTube also. So I am doing my very first video as a video response to Ember HoneyRaven's Tell Me Tarot, and that is part of Arwen's year-long. Each month is a different tag by a different person for a tarot tag, and there are 3 questions that Ember has put out there. So question number 1 will be, what magical feature would you like to see in a tarot deck? Now mind you, I've really only been working with tarot. I started about 15 years ago. I bought my very first deck when I was in New York with my best friend, and we went to Barnes & Noble. There was a very limited selection, and I got the Quest Tarot. But I did love it. I used it a lot for that year, and then I moved, and I think I used it a little bit, but it kind of fell by the wayside. So, almost 15 years later, here I am last year, and I pulled it out and I started using it. And then Jenny, my best friend, I'm in North Carolina now, she's in Arizona, she bought me another deck, and from there it's just snowballed. I've had to, slow it down, slow my roll here, because I have now 9 tarot decks and 3 oracle decks. And yeah, that's, I want them all. Give me all the pretties. I'll take them all. So, but for the last year and a half, I'd say I've been studying tarot fairly decently, using it almost every day, especially in the last 6 months. And something magical for me, I think, would be that the tarot, when I got a new deck, when I used it, that I would take the cards, pull something, and get an experience with all 5 of my senses: sound, touch, taste, smell, all of them. Which could be a little funny with the smell, because, depending on what card you're pulling, could you even imagine what the Ten of Swords would smell like? And it might depend on which deck you're pulling the card from, what the imagery looks like, for that little, could be a little scary there. But I think that would be an awesome experience. And then question number 2, what is a pet peeve you have when looking at tarot or oracle decks? Like I said, fairly new, so that when I started with the first deck, it taught me to do reversals. Kind of, didn't give the option, you should do reversals, blah, 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 blah. And in picking it back up, I actually like doing reversals. It kind of gives me more to learn. I love to learn. So, having more to learn is awesome. So I think one of my pet peeves is not having a reversible back. So that if I want to do the reversals, and there's a few times that I have not done the reversals, but when I want to do it, if it doesn't have a reversible back, it does make it more difficult. So, it does make it more difficult. So this is a bit of a pet peeve, but like I said, that is not a deal breaker. It's a pet peeve. It's not a deal breaker at all. So question number 3, and this is obviously going to be kind of short, is name 2 tarot decks you would love to own. Okay, look, I'm no Arwen. I don't have hundreds of decks yet, but the way I'm going, there is a point in my life that could happen. You have no idea. You should have seen my book collection when I moved. I'm an Air Force brat. I have moved all over the world, and I have carried my books and been collecting my books since I was 15 years old. My dad and I read science fiction and fantasy. Mostly, I read other things too now. When I was younger, that was it. That was all I was reading. And but I had a collection. I didn't give up my books. Don't just give up your books. Come on, I reread my favorite stories all the time. My mother does not get that at all. Just read it, done. Watch the movie, done. That's it. Whatever. And I can remember when we were in England, and I think that the first Desert Storm had started, And she packed up all our books that were in the china cabinet. We didn't have a ton then, you know, maybe 50 something. They were in the china cabinet, I think, in the hall closet, in the front hall. And she packed them up and she mailed them to the soldiers, you know, which was an awesome thing to do. Awesome thing, Mom. Really was good. But you don't touch our books. All our books were gone. And Dad and I were so upset. So my whole life, I've gotten way off topic here. I've carted these books around. I had, thank God, mostly paperbacks because they're cheaper to buy. A good 1800 books when I moved to North Carolina. The people who helped us unload my U-Haul, they were, you know, I knew to pack them into small boxes, you know. But hello, it's 1800 books. It's a lot. I can see that tarot is eventually going to be very much like this. So I had to slow down because by June I had bought, you know, between January and June I had collected, you know, 11 more decks. And I said, okay, I really need to slow this down because this is a lot of money going out of my pocket. So I need to put myself on it. You know, right now I'm not buying anything. However, I am filling up my Amazon wish list for the things that I'm seeing on Instagram. Or Arwen, enablers, come on now, people. So two of the decks that I have right now that I would really like to get my hands on is one is an Oracle deck. Which I only have a couple of those, but I'm starting to branch out of the tarot into the Oracle. So The Way of the Horse Oracle by Linda Cohenoff and Kim McElroy. I saw that on somebody's Instagram, and, you know, hello, I'm a horse person. Have been my whole life. Used to ride a lot. Spent my whole life at the barn. You know, started riding when I was in England. When we moved to Wichita, Kansas, it was like, oh, yeah, found the barn. That's the first thing I did. Spent my whole life there. You know, my entire first 10 years of my life, starting from like 15 to 25, all about the horses. So, and so The Way of the Horse Oracle, I would love to have that one. And then it was a toss-up between the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I think I said that right, may not have, but I decided that the second one that I would really love to have before any others is the Animal Totem Tarot. By Lisa Robertson and Eugene Smith, because, yeah, animals have always been a big thing, you know. That's how I got into the horses. Like any horse book I could find when I was a child turned into any animal book I could find as a child, you know. It's one of those things. So those are the two tarot decks that I would love to have, and those were the 3 questions for the Tell Me Tarot by Ember HoneyRaven. And I actually enjoyed doing this video, so you might see a few more. We'll have to see. This was a test run here. Test run, people. So it was really lovely to chat with you. And goodbye, everybody.